I'll tell you what, I reckon the Rudd government's gone too far in handing power back to the unions. Now, I feel the need to say this. I am all for fair dinkum unionists. Mick Young type union blokes, you know. Normal working people. I love working people. But I don't like these sort of bureaucratic lefto trendies that uni-educated types who care more about trendo issues like climate change or fair pay for board directors or senior lawyers. You know what I mean? I don't understand why unions should have those sorts of people. The Rudd government does. They want them. These new Rudd government laws that came into action a few days ago will hurt working people, I reckon, and small business. Here's a little bit of proof. The Retailers Association has run a survey of its members, shops, restaurants that employ vulnerable people. 96.47, almost 97% of employers say the government hasn't explained the new laws. Hold that thought for a sec. 92% say they have less confidence that their business can grow because of these new laws. And just on 90% say that they're considering cutting back staff hours or numbers of staff as a result of increased wage costs following these laws. Now, that's not in the interests of workers. It's in the interests of union bureaucrats and their power. So get this. Here's the thing that's happened just in the last couple of days. The Rudd government has set aside $12.7 million to explain these new laws, these new industrial relations laws. $12.7 million set aside, okay? Of that $12.7 million to explain, $10 million is being handed to the unions. $10 million donation to the ACTU to, quote, educate workers about these new laws. What sort of education do you reckon that would be? To educate Australia about these new laws. $12.7 million in total, $10 million goes to the unions. A further $2.7 million will go to the Fair Work Ombudsman. Nothing to business. And it's business organisations that have to educate businesses. They're the people that they're employing. I mean, these laws are a reality. The crazies in Canberra have done it. They're there. They're real. But no money for business. Small business people need to know about the new laws. And keep in mind as well that Julia Gillard, I used to rate her, but I don't now. She's just done too many crazy things. Captive to the union bosses. She's appointed 6 new members to the Rudd government's new quasi-court that replaces the old Industrial Relations Commission. So these are the people that decide on industrial disputes. Of the 6, 5 are current or former union members and one's a senior public servant in a Labor government. That sort of imbalance, I reckon, is sure to affect business confidence, and no wonder jobs are being exported to other countries. 4:10, the bloke who did the survey with the Retailers Association is the boss, the executive director of the organisation, that's Scott Driscoll. G'day, Scott.
How are you, Smithy?
Not bad, mate. Were you surprised by your findings?
Mate, I'm really surprised and really quite devastated because, as you rightly point out, this is real people this is going to affect. This is fair income stuff on Main Street, Australia. You're going to have families absolutely devastated when mum comes home and says the boss couldn't keep me on anymore because he simply can't afford to. And any union that wants to stack up, or Julia Gillard that wants to step up and say this is, businesses doing terrible things because they're just terrible people, I bet you they haven't stood in front of those staff, looked them in the eyes and had to, convey this sort of heartbreaking news for a very long time.
This is real stuff and serious stuff. Mate, I was shocked. Not surprised, but shocked today to see that during the holiday season, the government, which has set aside $12.7 million to publicise these new laws to educate people, has given the bulk of it to the ACTU and none to business.
Well, mate, you would think that this ACTU, the group that have been dogmatically pushing for these laws for, a couple of years now, since the lead up to the election, would know what there is to know. They wrote them. They sat there with Julia and they wrote these things. So what more do they need to be told? I mean, this sort of money-go-round stuff, which is just real dollars that could have gone back into supporting small business, family businesses, communities, gone over to the unions on the money-go-round.
I think the government's got to start listening to people like you and to employers. It would seem that they don't.
Mate, I told Julia Gillard last week, I went down to Sydney and we started talking to some of our members down there about this as well. We did a calculation, and a serious one, and I just wish the government had taken this seriously, that in New South Wales, Queensland and the ACT, on the back of these increases, we're going to lose 3,000 jobs in the independent retail sector. Now, that's savage. That is really, really savage stuff. And then I've got to come back home to Queensland and again start talking to more of our members here when we're getting these sorts of survey results back. And, mate, I can tell you the comments that have been attached to the surveys, I just asked for yeses or nos because I just knew this is such an emotive topic. But some of our guys just simply couldn't hold back. This has started. It's started now. It's not a, will we put people off, down the track. It's started now as a result of these laws.
Just if you can give us the top 3 bullet points of changes that affect business people directly.
Well, mate, the very, very top one is going to be in the retail sector, for example. If you're a young kid, at uni, or you're a mum going back to do a bit of part-time work at a retail outlet and you want to supplement the family income on a weekend or on a Sunday, the penalty rates that are going to be inflicted under these sorts of laws are going to be preclusive to you being able to get that job. And, it's just going to mean that the small business operator has to do more work. It's going to mean that their families are put under pressure. It's going to mean that that poor kid or that mum is not going to get the job that would have otherwise been there for them. But I think that is the standout issue, and that's what this is all about. We're pricing people out of opportunities.
The restaurant trade got an exemption, did they not, Scott?
Oh, mate, no, they're lining up for a really big whack. In fact, so they sort of got a bit of a stay of execution.
Right.
But unfortunately, the Deputy Prime Minister didn't come good on what a lot of them were hoping for. And we've got a lot of restaurants and cafes in our membership as well. And I did a calculation on that in Queensland, your cup of coffee is going to go up 67% once these things. So your $3.50 cup of latte is going to be just under $6 by the time these laws are actually enforced. Now, people can't afford that. So it's going to be jobs costs, family budgets are going to get blown and families are going to get destroyed.
How do we let the government know we don't want to cop it?
Oh, mate, I think people just need to ring you. People need to get vocal. They seriously need to. This is going to be about grassroots more than ever. People need to really value the voice they've got and use it long and loud now.
It worked for the ETS. I think
absolutely did.
Got to try the same style on. Good on you, Scott. Thanks for your time, matey.
Thanks, mate. Bye.
Scott Driscoll with the Retailers Association.